Hey YouTubers, Rick from Rick's RC and More here. Got my latest project here in front of me. This is just kind of a progress video. I was having some issues with the reverse. It seems it was like a fraction of the power in reverse. Like if you were to try to back it up a hill, it probably wouldn't even do anything. The motor would just stall out. I found out what the issue was there. Um, the, the previous owner had had this for an ESC in it. Now it was tucked in underneath one of the trays. It was really hard to see, so I had to get in there because I couldn't find any issues on the transmitter. But this is a Dynamite 2S LiPo ESC. So he shouldn't have been running the 3S on this. It's not rated for it. And if you look at the number on there, it's a DYN M2210. That M actually stands for Marine. So this is a boat ESC, a 2S boat ESC, and because of that, its reverse is limited power. It's not. It will not go nowhere near full throttle in reverse because it's made for a boat. It's made for something. Boats obviously aren't made to go full throttle in reverse. You're either going to damage your prop or maybe a chance wearing out your motor, or be a lot of stress on your motor, etc. The other issue was running it on the 3S. When I bought the truck and went and looked at it, he said that the stock motor was handling the 3S fine, which I kind of wondered. I foreseen this coming, but the motor last night on me sees solid, so yeah, you can't obviously run these stock Tamiya motors on 3S power. It's just not gonna handle it. That's just my controller going here. So I picked up a RC 4-wheel drive motor for it. I was gonna go with an 80 turn, but of course I had to buy a new ESC so I could actually have full throttle in reverse. And the ESC I picked was a fairly cheap one. It was another Dynamite. Basically the on-road version of the Marine ESC he had put in there. Only this one's, it's got a crawler mode, and it is 2 to 3S LiPo compatible. I'm not going to run 3S on the truck anyway because I don't want to cook another motor. The RC 4-wheel drive one might be able to handle it, but anyway, when I picked this ESC up, it's 12 to 55 turn, so I put a RC 4-wheel drive 55 turn in the truck. So at least now I have all my power forward, and I have all the power I need reverse. The other issue I had was with the controller itself. He swapped the gimbals. As you can see, if you were to use this for a drone or helicopter, this would be on the left-hand side here. You swap these over for the land vehicle, so you got throttle, forward, reverse, and then your left and right steering. When he swapped these out, as he told me he did that mod, he unplugged the wiring from them and plug them into the opposite ports. So that's why I was still getting throttle on the right stick up and down, and left and right on the left stick, and it didn't matter what I did to change channels. That's the way it was. And so I had to take the controller apart and switch those wires out to back to their original ports. So when if you take one of these apart and you are doing that mod where you're moving the gibbles from one side to the other, don't unplug them. Just unscrew them from the back and then just swap them, and then you should be good to go. So that was the other issue I was having, which is now resolved. I have throttle on this side like I should, and my left and right steering on this side like I should, and both spring return. So it was just a little update. I've got my transmission hooked up to this knob here for my 3-speed, just to try it out. I did try it out. It's really awkward using that to shift, and you gotta have it just the right point. Just until I've just been using it around in first gear until I get my new switch for the remote here I'm waiting for. The other issue I came across was when I went to put the new motor in. I had to take the transmission out, and then you have to take the cover off the transmission to get the motor out, and that's when I noticed 2 of the gears just weren't, they were meshing fine, but their alignment was off as far as surface to surface. So I got the manual out and realized that one of the gears was put on the opposite way, so its spacing just wasn't quite right. So after that, I thought, well, at this point, I'm just going to take the entire transmission apart and I'm just going to rebuild it. So I rebuilt the transmission. There's one of the engagement gears with the 3 bosses on them. There's 2 metal bushings that go in it, and it says in the instructions that they are to be cemented. Because it moves back and forth, and if you don't cement them in, they could actually pop out. Well, I noticed that too, that one was popping out, so they weren't cemented in either. So it was just easier for me to just take the entire transmission apart and then just rebuild it myself. Make sure everything was greased. There's a couple, the transmission kit, there is a couple ball bearings that go in there instead of just the metal bearings or bushings, and one of them wasn't in the right spot either, so it's a good thing I kind of went over it. I'm contemplating maybe I should open up those rear diffs and take a look at them too. I'm not shamming my old friend that I bought this off of in any way. Just he kind of led me to believe he knew a lot about these and did like a lot of custom building or something. But just from what I've seen on the assembly on this. With some loose screws and just stuff like that, I kind of question how much he does know or how many kits he has built. But either way, I'll throw this thing up for sale on one of my local buy and sell groups and see if somebody with a boat needs a 2S ESC just to try to make some money back. I'm just going to, that's my remote going off because it's been sitting idle. Now with that RC 4-wheel drive motor, it does modulate nice and slow. It's also a little bit of a quieter ESC I found, and it doesn't quite buzz as loud as this guy, but both made by Dynamite. Like I said, they're pretty much the same ESC, except for this guy here is a marine version. They're both 60 amp. This one here was only compatible with 2S though, not 3S. So anyhow, that's just an update and kind of what I've been doing and working on, trying to get this guy figured out. So if you're thinking about picking up one of these keys, I did a video there a while back, like a buyer's beware video about buying used RCs and stuff like that, and I personally do recommend, if you're going to get into RC, to buy new, just so you don't go through kind of what I'm going through here right now, where you're really problem solving stuff and you're waiting on parts right away. It's just one of those things. If you're into the hobby and you're experienced, then you don't mind these situations so much, because you can kind of figure out things as you go, and you've got the experience and knowledge there to and what to check and stuff like that. Now, because I also have proper on-road ESC in there now, before I said there was no brake lights. Well, now the brake lights, there's no tail lights now. It's brake lights. When you hit the throttle, they go out, and the reason they're so dim too is, I should have realized, is because I have these are red bulbs in behind a red lens. So whereas these up here, these are white bulbs in behind the red lens, so they're quite a bit brighter. I currently don't have any white bulbs to put in there. I do have clear lenses I could put in there, but I like the look of them better red. As you can see, it might be hard to see on camera, but they're lit, and when you go forward, they go out. You brake, they come back on. So those are your brake lights, your reverse lights. But yeah, I got full speed forward, full speed reverse. So anyway, hope everybody has a good evening, and keep on RCing.